It. I'm Southside Trey. This is Worldwide Classic. We going live, man. This is my second live. We just needed to talk. I don't got time to make it to the worldwide arena just yet. So we got to talk right now, live and direct. It seems like my man Seth Rollins can't catch a break unless it's Bron Breakker folding his ass up. I don't know what to make of this, y'all. I'm torn because I give the WWE a lot of credit for doing something different. And if you know anything about me, then you know that I love moments in professional wrestling. This is a great moment. It's just the setup and the direction that we go from here that makes me question it. Like, what are we doing right now? Seth Rollins is on a roll. He's having one of the best years he's had in a while, including winning the World Heavyweight Championship for the second time. Seth Rollins just won the Men's Crown Jewel Championship Saturday in an instant classic match with Cody Rhodes. And then 2 days later, he's getting his ass folded up by Bron Breakker, by one of his guys. I'm just as surprised as Paul Heyman right now. That's exactly how I feel. I love surprises. But only if it's sustainable. Only if it makes sense. What sense does this make right now? Seth Rollins is about to potentially go into WrestleMania with the World Heavyweight Championship. They're about to go into War Games in a month from now. What does this do for Seth Rollins? Besides what's been happening the entire year with Seth Rollins. Shout out to everybody that's coming in the live right now, everybody that's joining. I appreciate y'all. Got my co-host in the background, my little baby girl. Go ahead and watch TV, baby. Appreciate y'all, man. Daddy duties come first. Gotta make sure the baby's straight. She holding it down. It's my security right now. But apparently Seth Rollins needs security as well. Because his own backup, his own team, his own crew, I guess they pretty much done with Seth Rollins. Bronson Reed had to make a decision, and he chose to join Bron Breakker. Again, I'm all for surprises, and I'm all for moments like this. But I didn't think this was the right time to make this move happen. I think Bron Breakker still needs some work. I know the WWE wants to pencil him in for 20 WrestleManias as the main event. That's all fine and well, but now is not the time. Bron Breakker still has a lot of work left to do. And there's no knock on Bron Breakker because I have been seeing the growth from week to week. I have been seeing the development from Bron Breakker. But I don't think now is the time. I don't think this is the time to put the spotlight directly on Bron Breakker. We just saw Bronson Reed have one of the biggest wins in his career 2 days ago at Crown Jewel. And that was against Roman Reigns, which makes Bronson Reed only the second person to get a win over Roman Reigns in a few years. So this was a big step in the right direction for Bronson Reed. My question to y'all is, what moment does Bron Breakker have? What big match or big moment was Bron Breakker a part of? This is why it kind of doesn't make sense to do this right now. I thought we needed some momentum before we even pulled the trigger on this. We need to figure out a way to establish Bron Breakker as a real star, not just a guy that has potential. He hasn't even had a big match yet, as far as I'm concerned. We just saw Bronson Reed pick up the biggest win of his career over Roman Reigns. And that's not by accident, because Bronson Reed, in my opinion, is a guy that's ready now. But we already know that the focus point is on Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker just drew the line in the sand when he speared and folded up Seth Rollins. Bron Breakker is making Paul Heyman pick sides. These dudes is moving so quick, Paul Heyman don't even get a chance to be a snake. He didn't even get enough time. Because let's not forget, Paul Heyman introduced Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza for some reason. So once more, I'm going to give the WWE credit for planting little seeds here and there of things that could potentially happen. But as of right now, none of those things are making sense. And maybe in the WWE, that's exactly what they want. Maybe to them, this is the perfect way to bring us into Survivor Series / the Royal Rumble and ultimately WrestleMania. Because we getting close to being on that road. So I could see the vision, no pun intended, of what the WWE are trying to do. And maybe I need to just shut the hell up and let it play out. But that's part of the problem. This shit has been playing out since WrestleMania, and none of it has made sense. So I don't feel like I'm doing too much by questioning this silly shit. It was a nice moment. Hold on, I got some comments, man. I appreciate y'all too. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. I appreciate y'all, man. Definitely. Desire Gonzalez, I hope I said that right. Appreciate you. That's love. Giancarlo Perez, appreciate you. Salute. Yeah, Bronson Reed is recovering. I did a video about that where I was scared that Bronson Reed wouldn't be able to be a big star because of that. Because he had the article mentioning that he had never had 100% mobility in either leg. So that kind of concerns me, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was concerned about that, but after seeing Bronson Reed compete with Roman Reigns over the past 2 premium live events, I think Bronson Reed is good. I think Bronson Reed is good to go. I was very impressed. I'm already a Bronson Reed fan. If you're new to the channel, I recommend some of my previous videos where I spoke about Bronson Reed, just so you could get a little context of where I'm coming from right now. I've been on board with Bronson Reed, with or without this group. I think that he's one of those guys that really can be a star. The way that they're pushing Bron Breakker, and that's not to say that Breakker can't be, but I think Bronson Reed has the tools now, if I'm being perfectly honest. They're even circulating videos of Bronson Reed competing in New Japan and different promotions. This guy is ready to go, and he has the experience. And I knew it was something about him before I even saw those clips, because I'll be perfectly honest. I knew that he competed in other companies, but I hadn't actually watched the matches. To see Bronson Reed perform in New Japan, it just validates everything that I already thought, plus some. Bronson Reed is a whole different type of competitor, and he can be the future of the WWE. This is why I wanted him to be a part of this group. Even before he came back from his injury, I had made a video saying that I thought they should get rid of Bron Breakker, ironically. I felt like they should have brought Bronson Reed back, and then they should have kicked Bron Breakker out the group. A lot like what we just saw this morning on Raw. So they just switched the guys around. But I thought that would have been a good look to have Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed be a unit and add pieces to that group. In my opinion, that would have been better for Bron Breakker as well, because you're instantly giving him a storyline where he can become the hero. He can become the star. But I get it. A lot of times when new wrestlers are really trying to get the experience, it's better to position them as heels. It's better to make them the villains because it gives you that room to develop as much as you need. With me, I just feel like either way, you couldn't go wrong. But I feel like the crowd would get behind him more as a good guy. Even though he's portraying this badass character and things of that nature, I think the crowd wants to cheer for Bron Breakker. I mean, he's a Steiner after all. And for all of us that's true fans of the sport, we already know what the Steiner brothers mean to professional wrestling. So shout out to those guys as well. So I think internally, this why as wrestling fans, we all want to see Bron Breakker succeed because we're fans of the Steiners. And this is kind of poetic justice because neither of those guys were able to be the main guy in professional wrestling. They were stars, but they were never the superstars that they could have been. So the universe is righting that wrong in Bron Breakker. But Bronson Reed, definitely. I think that he's a big star. So even if I'm going to play peacemaker for a minute with this situation because I can look at it both ways. If I look at it from the peacemaker standpoint, I still appreciate the fact that Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker are a unit. I think that's the silver lining out of all of this. These two guys legitimately have something and they will be around for the next 5 to 10. I kind of like this dynamic of them being together, even though originally I would have preferred Bron Breakker to be kicked out the group. But I do like this dynamic. I do think that they have something together and that now they've had the experience. They've even had a few premium live events where they've been working together, which makes this move make even more sense because they've had more of a chemistry together than Seth Rollins has had with either one of them. So again, that's just me playing peacemaker. But if I'm playing devil's advocate, I'm ready for Seth Rollins to be the man. Yeah, he's a champion and he's accomplished these things here and there and had big moments. But even with all of that said, I don't think Seth Rollins has ever been the man the way that Roman Reigns has been the man. It's a big difference between being a champion and being the man. Being the guy that's on the throne. It's a difference between holding a title and holding the throne. Roman Reigns has held the throne for 5 to 6 years. So a lot of times I thought Seth Rollins was getting the short end of the stick for that reason. Seth Rollins wasn't able to really do anything because he had to play second string to what Roman Reigns had going on with the bloodline. And I'm not saying that was the wrong move because that was one of the most historic runs that we've seen in modern day or otherwise. That's the thing. It was just the wrong place at the wrong time for Seth Rollins. So I kind of felt bad because if you look throughout his whole career, he's never had the moment where he's been the focus point. After the Shield, he won the WWE Championship shortly after that. And to me, that was the only time that he came close to being the guy on the throne. The only problem with that was he was still too new to a lot of fans. So he was still getting familiar with the WWE universe. So I think a lot of times as the fans, they couldn't appreciate what Rollins was bringing to the table when he first cashed in Money in the Bank and won the WWE Championship. But I recommend any Seth Rollins match from that run. If you go back and check out any match with Seth Rollins from the time he got away from the Shield, I could almost guarantee it was close to a classic. I'm gonna just say that. I know a lot of people might not agree, but if you look at Seth Rollins' performance, being a new wrestler in the company, it was still only 2 or 3 years that the Shield was there before Rollins went off solo. So you could still consider that being new to the company. But even being essentially a new guy, Rollins was having matches with guys like Brock Lesnar's, having matches with guys like John Cena. It was a Royal Rumble where Seth Rollins had a triple threat match with Brock Lesnar and John Cena. And in my opinion, Seth Rollins stole the show. He was very underrated during that run, but then it was cut short due to an injury. So unfortunately, Rollins wasn't able to ride the wave of what he had achieved early on in his career. And unfortunately, ever since then, he's never able to be, he hasn't been able to get back to the throne. Let me just go ahead and keep it all the way real. He's done a lot of great things and had some moments, but again, it's a difference between being in that top spot and being in that throne. It's almost like a Dolph Ziggler situation right now. I thought Dolph Ziggler should have had a bigger role in the company, but he kept being pushed to the side for other people. It's almost feeling like the same thing is happening to Seth Rollins right now, because this was the year, saying all that to say this was the year that I thought Seth Rollins was going to get the throne. This is the year, 2025 was the year that I thought Seth Rollins was going to take the throne and be the guy in WWE. But instead, as of this morning, he's currently been folded up by the Vision, which is Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, because clearly the Vision has a different picture in mind. I'm just a Shield guy, man. I hate to see this. This could have happened. It wasn't nothing wrong with this per se. It just didn't need to happen now. Now is just the wrong time for this. He got too much momentum. Seth Rollins, that is. Rollins has way too much momentum right now. This man just beat Cody Rhodes in a classic match. Rollins and Rhodes, to me, just made the Crown Jewel Championship legitimate. Especially since the event was away from Saudi Arabia. And there's no knock to that country, but the WWE just never performed well when they're in Saudi Arabia. So Crown Jewel being in Australia with that fan base, Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes both being champions, that match meant something, in my opinion. And it's rare that you can say that when you talk about the WWE. That match meant something. Seth Rollins was on to something. And then 2 days later, Braun Breaker puts him down. Braun Breaker must be ready to be a superstar then. If y'all pulled the trigger on this right now, Braun Breaker must be ready to be a mega star right now if y'all pulled the trigger on this situation right now, which is Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed kicking Seth Rollins out of the group and holding Paul Heyman hostage. Just look at the man's face. That's exactly how I'm looking right now. But more on that later, man. I appreciate everybody that tapped in, checked me out on this live. This was just spur of the moment, man. We not in Worldwide Arena, but I needed to talk about this. I guess Seth Rollins just ain't gonna never be the man in WWE, because clearly WWE has different plans, and Braun Breaker is a big part of that. It's crazy, y'all. Like, I thought Rollins was really gonna be the man this year. I thought Rollins was even going to potentially be John Cena's last opponent, because Gunther is just not going to cut it for me. Gunther's a good wrestler. There's nothing wrong with what he does in the ring. He's just not the right opponent for John Cena's retirement match. Seth Rollins is a guy that could have just as much as a classic match as John Cena just had with AJ Styles. Because I think we all can agree that was an instant classic match. And in a lot of ways, and we'll talk about that on a different live, in a lot of ways, John Cena versus AJ Styles in Australia, that should have been a retirement match for John Cena. I don't think there's no other opponent or any other place in the world or city, in the United States for that matter, that's going to give you the same energy and the same feel that we got from AJ Styles versus John Cena at Crown Jewel. That was a classic for every reason. AJ Styles is about to retire next year. First of all, I feel too damn old because I've seen both of these guys start their career. So for me, it just means a little something different that I'm seeing these two guys retiring. I watched both of those guys break into professional wrestling. And even at this stage in their career, they had a classic match like that 2 days ago. I dare say that was John Cena's best match in the retirement tour. Because I was thinking about that. I want to say SummerSlam against Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. I want to say that was John Cena's best match in this retirement tour. And I kind of was holding on to that. But now that I had a couple days to really think about it, John Cena versus AJ Styles was probably the best match during this whole tour. It's probably the best match John Cena has had over the past few years. I'll take it that far. I'll do you one even better. That might have been John Cena's best match in years. I don't know if any other opponent is going to give you that. Seth Rollins could. Because Seth Rollins is nothing to sneeze at in the ring. The only problem with that is Bron Breakker just folded Seth Rollins' ass up a few hours ago. And like Paul Heyman, I can't believe it. It's been an interesting couple of days in professional wrestling, man. It really has. But this time in a good way. A month ago, WrestlePalooza, I don't know what the hell these people was thinking about. And that was a disgrace to all fans. What a difference a month makes. Because the WWE is kind of getting their shit back together. I don't like what this picture means for the long run. But for right now, I just enjoyed the surprise of this. Because I can honestly say I didn't see this coming. I did not see Seth Rollins getting kicked out of his own group, at least right now. It's just too early for this shit. Literally. WWE still in Australia, so Monday Night Raw was on at 8 o'clock this morning. It's still pretty early now. It's just too early for this shit, man. It's too early in the day, and it's too early in the story for Seth Rollins to be getting kicked out of the group. It's too early, man. With all of that said, since this is Seth Rollins' current situation, I'm going to make a prediction. I think CM Punk is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship at Survivor Series. I just can't see how Seth Rollins get out of there. I can't see how Seth Rollins will get out of Survivor Series with the championship. Bron Breakker looks pretty pissed right here in this picture. That's personal. He got some hatred in his heart for Seth Rollins. Bronson Reed could see the hate in Bron Breakker's heart. But Bronson Reed is going to ride with Bron Breakker. So I'm going to ride with this.
Daddy, I want crayons.
All right, baby. My baby wants some crayons, man. So on that one, I'm Southside Trey. This is Worldwide Classic. Make sure you check out my other videos too, man. Get in tune with me. Leave comments. Let's have a conversation. I'm going to bring up the topics, but I would love to hear from y'all too. So I appreciate everybody in this live right now. We just getting started. Appreciate y'all. Catch y'all on the next one.